Been a long haul.
My daughter wanted when I was in hospital. She says, "Oh, we've got your place in Edinburgh, isn't that great?" And I couldn't tell her that I didn't need a place.
More about mobility, he still had his mental faculties.
I was my own boss. I could drive wherever I wanted to go until I came here.
Made a lot of people very lonely, very isolated.
Became kind of that chair in a way, didn't he? And more or less chair-bound, bed-bound.
I'm an old lady, I know that. But I have a young mind.
Deterioration, that all that time spent on his own impacted on him physically and mentally, but he was still there.
There's no compunction about an elderly person stood there that can hardly stand.
Talking to him like he was a child. A sippy cup, I mean, if you like a young person or a baby in terms of the dependence that he had. But the way that people talked to him, he found really difficult.
Nowadays, you would automatically hear, here's the seat.
Elders wise and people respect them, and I think in our culture, sadly, because of the emphasis on youth, older people are marginalised and disrespected.
Don't seem to care.
More dependent he became on carers, more depressed he became, partly because he was so independent and he really didn't like the fact that he needed care.
Be scared of nothing at all.
I mean, I use a bit of moisturiser every now and then.
I think probably as you get older, you probably lose confidence as well when you see everybody doing things that you can't do. So.
I could do that last week. What the hell was the matter with me? I don't know. I don't feel sorry for myself in any shape or form. I can get up and tap dance.
We're here because we've nowhere else to go.
He still had some hope, a little tiny shred, not much, that he'd go back to a house. So more or less completely gave up once he was moved into the home. How he's just left there. There was nothing. And he was very isolated and he felt quite condescended and patronised.
This is it. You can't blame anybody.
Yeah,
you can't go around saying, well, it was so-and-so.
Okay, not like when you were younger.
You might fail, but then if there's nothing worth living for, perhaps that's what people choose.
We're happy, aren't we?
Yeah, it's
we're
just
quite
a number.
happy. Even though we're in the nursing home now.
Very much a man who measured himself on what he could do. We called him Handy Andy, didn't we? Yeah. Each time he was in hospital, he became more fragile, more frail, more depressed.
It just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I had to come here. I couldn't cope. Yet I've coped with everything all them years.
I'm fearful for what's happening in the world and to the planet.
Don't worry about getting older.
You can't stop it.
It's going to happen anyway.
He had how he would die, death itself.
It's just a natural part of things.
His sister had the chair, and she died, and he got the chair, which then that was what he was reduced to. He was watching TV, sat in his chair.
Happens to plants, the beds, happens to us.
More alienated, more isolated, more alone.
And I can talk about things which I couldn't before.
But I'm not personally fearful of that getting older.
But in some ways, he'd always been very alone. Lost his wife when he was 54.
Live your life to the best of your ability and don't step on anybody's toes. Just be yourself.
How it was okay to sleep